Welcome to Midnight Tales, where the stories don't end when the video does. If something out there knew you were coming, before you even arrived, would you still go? Because tonight, you're about to hear 26 real encounters where people walked into places they were never meant to find. At first, everything felt normal. A quiet forest, an empty road, a place that didn't feel dangerous, until something changed. A sound where there should be silence, footsteps matching theirs, but never visible. A voice calling them, from somewhere that doesn't exist. And that's when they realized they weren't exploring the place already knew them. Some were being watched long before they noticed. Some were followed long after they thought it was over. And some never actually left. But there's one story in this video that's different. Because in this one, something wasn't hiding, wasn't chasing, it was waiting. And the moment you realize which one it is, you'll understand why people say, some places don't trap you, they keep you. So don't skip, stay with me. Because the smallest detail might be the one you remember tonight, when it's quiet, and you feel like you're not alone. If you're into real horror, true encounters, and stories that stay in your head long after they end, follow Midnight Tales. Because once you start noticing the patterns, you won't be able to stop. Let's begin. In certain parts of northern Idaho, there's a rule you won't find on any map. It doesn't come from rangers, it doesn't come from signs. It comes from the people who've spent enough nights out there to know what stays and what doesn't. The rule is simple. Don't cross moving water after midnight. Nobody explains why. Nobody needs to. One man did. I've been trapping and scouting land in Idaho for 18 years. I know the terrain, I know the sounds. Last winter, I heard something that didn't belong there. Name's Carter. I'm 46. January. Solo trip. I had a small cabin set up about 5 miles off logging roads. Nearest neighbor, probably 10 miles. Night 2. Around 12:40 a.m. I was awake. Stove was low, just listening. From across the creek, maybe 60 yards out. I heard footsteps, not animals. Too steady, not human either. Too consistent. Step, pause, like someone walking, but thinking about every step. I figured, maybe another trapper. Then I noticed something. The steps never touched the water. The creek wasn't frozen, not fully. Ice patches, sure, but flowing water in between. Anything crossing it would make noise. This didn't. The steps just stopped at the edge. Then, I heard something drag across the ground. Slow, heavy, like weight, being shifted, but not crossing. It stayed on the other side for about 20 minutes. Then it started copying. I shifted in my bed. It shifted. I coughed. A second later, same cough. Not exact, but close enough, like something learning the sound. Then, it spoke. My name, not loud, not clear, just enough to know it was trying. Carter. Wrong rhythm, wrong spacing. I didn't move, didn't answer, didn't even breathe properly, because I realized something. It wasn't crossing the creek. It couldn't. Around 2 a.m., it left. Same steps, same pattern, never touching water. In the morning, I checked the creek. Snow was fresh. Tracks stopped right at the edge. Deep impressions. Not boots, not paws. Too wide, too flat. Like something that didn't need toes. I packed up that day. At the gas station, an older man asked where I'd been. I told him. He just nodded and said, "Good thing you stayed on your side. So if you're ever out there, and something calls your name from across water, just remember, some things don't cross, but they don't have to." In parts of Wyoming, hunters don't follow lights at night, not because they get lost, but because sometimes the light is following them. One guide learned that the hard way. I guide backcountry hunts, mostly mule deer, sometimes elk. Been doing it 12 years. Never had a problem. Until last fall. Name's Ryan. I'm 39. We were camped deep. No roads, no signal. Night 3. Around 1:15 a.m. My client wakes me up, says there's a light outside. I step out. About 300 yards out, on a ridge. There's a light. Small, white, not flickering, just steady. I figured headlamp, another hunter, but something felt off. The light wasn't moving like a person. No scanning, no bouncing, just gliding, left to right. Perfectly smooth, like it wasn't attached to anything. We watched it for 10 minutes. Then, it stopped and pointed directly at our camp. I told my client to get back in the tent. We zipped up. Didn't turn on any lights, didn't speak. After a few minutes, we saw it through the canvas. Closer now, much closer. It stopped right outside. No footsteps, no sound, just the light. Bright enough that we could see shadows inside the tent. Then, it dimmed, slowly, like it was backing away. Morning came. We checked outside. No tracks, no prints, nothing disturbed. But one thing was different. Our gear had been moved, not stolen, just rearranged, like someone had looked through it. We packed out that morning. On the way down, an old rancher asked where we camped. I told him. He just said, "You saw it, didn't you?" I didn't answer. He didn't need me to. So if you ever see a light in the mountains, make sure of one thing. You're not the one being found.
My daughter hasn't blinked in 3 days, and tonight she asked me something I can't unhear. She said, "Am I human enough yet?" I didn't notice it at first. 3 days ago, she came back from a camping trip in the woods. Same clothes, same voice, same little habits. Everything looked normal, but something felt off. Not obvious. Not something I could point to. Just this quiet, heavy feeling in the air, like something was wrong and my brain refused to understand it. That night, at dinner, I dropped my fork. It hit the floor loud enough to make me flinch. She didn't react, not even a twitch. She just slowly turned her head toward me. And I mean slowly, but not naturally slow. It was segmented. Like her head was moving in tiny, perfect steps, too precise, too controlled, like something was following instructions instead of moving on instinct. Then she smiled, and I swear, it was perfect. Not a normal smile, not uneven, not emotional. Every single muscle in her face moved at the exact same time. No hesitation, no imperfection, just flawless. Too flawless. "Are you okay, Daddy?" Her voice sounded exactly like hers, but the timing was wrong. Like the words came a fraction of a second too late. Like a badly synced video. That's when I started paying attention, and that's when I realized she hadn't blinked. Not once. I told myself I was imagining it. People blink all the time without noticing. I must have just missed it. But that night, I couldn't sleep. So I stood outside her bedroom and looked through the crack in the door. She was standing in front of the mirror. No lights on, just darkness and her reflection. I watched her for 10 minutes. 10 full minutes. She didn't blink a single time. Her eyes were wide open, completely still, reflecting the faint moonlight like glass. And then she spoke, but not to me. Blink, left eye, right eye, slower, slower, stop. My stomach dropped. She wasn't acting strange, she was practicing how to be human. I stepped back slowly, trying not to make a sound. And that's when it happened. She saw me. Not by turning around, not by moving at all. Through the mirror. Her eyes locked onto mine in the reflection, and she smiled again. But this time, it slipped. just slightly, like she hadn't perfected it yet. Did I get it right this time, Daddy? I couldn't move. Am I human enough yet? I don't remember going back to my room. I don't remember sleeping. All I know is, the next morning, she was acting normal again, laughing, talking, blinking, perfectly, like she finally learned it. I almost convinced myself it was all in my head, until tonight. I was going through the photos from that camping trip. There were 7 kids in the group, 7. But in every single photo, only 6 of them are doing something different, laughing, looking away, moving. And then there's Sarah, standing completely still, looking directly at the camera, with that same perfect smile. In every picture, exactly the same. No change, no movement. Like it was copied and pasted onto her face. And then I noticed something else. In the last photo, all 7 of them are visible. All 7 are smiling. But only 6 of them have their eyes on the camera. Sarah is looking at something else. Something just behind the person taking the picture. Something that isn't there in any of the other photos. I'm sitting in my kitchen right now recording this, because I don't know what else to do. She's in the hallway, walking toward me. And something is wrong. Her footsteps, they're too even, too heavy, too perfect. Like something learned how to walk, but never learned why. If you're listening to this, don't check under your bed. Don't look into the dark. Check the people around you. Watch their eyes. Watch their timing. Because sometimes the thing pretending to be human doesn't realize you're still watching. And just now, I heard her stop outside the door. She hasn't knocked. She hasn't said anything. She's just standing there, waiting, like she's not sure what humans do next.
I didn't think about him moving. At least, I don't remember doing it. I was standing there, completely still, trying to keep my mind blank. No images, no ideas, nothing. And yet, when I looked back at the painting, his hand was no longer at his side. It was raised, closer to the edge of the frame, closer to me. What if your thoughts weren't private anymore? Not in the way people usually say that. I mean literally. What if something could see them the moment they form? What if it could use them, change because of them? Or worse, what if it could think for you? I didn't believe in any of that. I've always been the kind of person who needs proof. Something real, something logical, which is exactly why my family asked me to handle the house. Because I don't panic, I don't imagine things, I don't lose control. The house belonged to my uncle. We weren't close. No one really was. He lived alone, far from everything. No visitors, no calls, just silence. And when they found him, there was no explanation, no sign of anything wrong, just gone. I arrived just before sunset. That strange kind of light where nothing feels finished, too dark to be day, too early to be night. I remember sitting in the car for a moment, just watching the house, because something about it felt off, not broken, not abandoned, just aware. When I stepped inside, the air didn't feel old. It felt still, like nothing had moved in a long time. The power was out, of course it was, so I used my phone, and that's when I saw it. The hallway, long, narrow, too quiet. With a row of framed pictures along the wall. I wasn't scared. Not yet. Until I reached the 3rd frame. There was something about it, not obvious, not dramatic, just enough to make me stop. At first, I thought it was blank. Not empty, just unclear, like layers of paint had covered something beneath. I leaned in a little closer. It kind of looks like a person. I said it without thinking. And that's when it changed. Not suddenly, not violently, just enough. A shape formed, subtle, standing in the center. I stepped back immediately, told myself it was the lighting, my brain filling in patterns. That's what people do. We see faces in everything. But then I made a mistake. I thought, it looks like he's looking at me. And slowly, his head tilted. Not much, just enough. But now, he wasn't facing forward anymore. He was looking directly at me. That's when something shifted inside me. Not fear, not yet. Something worse. Understanding. So I tested it. I thought of something simple. A chair. Just a chair. Nothing threatening, nothing strange. And when I looked back, there it was. Behind him. Exactly where I imagined it. That should have scared me, but it didn't. Not right away. Because now I understood the rules. Or, at least, I thought I did. So I pushed it. I thought, sit down. And slowly, unnaturally, he moved. His body bent, like something learning how to move for the first time. And he sat. That's when I felt it. That wasn't instant. That wasn't natural. That was effort. Whatever this was, it wasn't just reacting. It was learning. I stepped back, my heart beating faster now. Okay, I said quietly. Just don't think anything bad. That sounded simple. But the human brain doesn't work like that. Because the moment you try not to think about something, that's all you can think about. Don't think about him standing up. Too late. When I looked back, the chair was empty. My stomach dropped. He was standing again, closer now, not physically, but the space around him felt smaller. Like he was taking up more of it. And his head was straight now, focused, locked onto me. I tried to look away, tried to calm down. Just leave, I told myself. Walk out. So I turned, took one step toward the door, and that's when I heard it. A creak, not under my feet, behind me, closer than before. I didn't turn around, because I already knew what my mind was doing. He's not in the painting anymore. No, I whispered. I didn't think that, but I had, even for a second. And that was enough. Slowly, I turned back. The chair was still there. The background was darker now. But the man was different. He wasn't fully inside the frame anymore. His hand was over the edge. Not painted, real. I froze. Completely. That's not possible. But it didn't matter anymore, because the worst part wasn't what I was seeing. It was what I realized next. I didn't think about his hand coming out, not clearly, not intentionally. So if I didn't think it, then who did? That's when I understood the truth. It wasn't just reacting to my thoughts. It was influencing them, feeding them back to me, making sure I thought the exact thing it needed, so it could get closer, so it could become more real. I tried to stop thinking, try to...
If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. The moment someone says nothing can go wrong, you're already halfway into something that will. And that's exactly what Daniel said right before we lost signal and started hearing footsteps in a place where there were no people for miles. It started as a simple delivery job. 3 of us, me, Daniel, and a guy named Kareem, who barely spoke unless money was involved. We were hired to transport equipment to a remote weather station deep in the Black Ridge Mountains. No big deal. In and out in one night, at least that's what we were told. The road stopped being a road about an hour in. Then it became gravel. Then it became nothing. Just forest swallowing the tires whole. That was the first warning. We ignored it, because that's what people do. By sunset, we reached the station, or what was left of it, a single metal structure standing in complete isolation. No fences, no signs, no nearby roads, just a building that looked like it had been waiting a very long time for someone to arrive or return. Daniel laughed. "Easy job," he said. That was mistake number 1. Inside, everything was already powered. Lights on, monitors blinking, equipment running, but no one there. No footprints, no dust on the control panels, like the place had been used. Moments before we arrived, Kareem didn't like it. He said we should leave immediately, but Daniel wanted to finish unloading, so we stayed. That was mistake number 2. Then the radio turned on by itself, static first, then a voice, clear, too clear. It said only one sentence, "You're early." We froze. Daniel assumed it was a prank, but there was no network out there, no signal, no connection to anything. Still, the voice came again, same tone, same words, "You're early." That's when the first real sound came from outside, a knock on metal, slow, measured, like someone checking if the building was awake. Daniel grabbed a flashlight and went to the door. We told him not to. He opened it anyway. Nothing was there, just darkness and wind moving through trees that didn't look close enough to create sound. Then the knocking came again, but this time from inside the station, from the walls. We didn't move for maybe 10 seconds, maybe longer. Then the power flickered, and every monitor in the room turned on at once. Not random feeds, cameras, all pointing outward, all showing the same thing. The forest, empty, still, until one frame changed. Something moved between the trees, not walking, not running, just shifting, like it knew exactly where every camera was pointing. Kareem backed away instantly. "Turn it off," he said, but Daniel couldn't, because the system wasn't responding. It was already running on its own. And then the cameras started changing angles, following something moving around the station. We all saw it at the same time, a shadow outside the glass, standing too close to the wall, not pressing against it, just there, watching. Daniel finally said it out loud, "We're not alone." That was mistake number 3, because as soon as he said it, the lights went out. Complete darkness, except for the emergency red glow from the exit sign, and something knocking from inside the ventilation system, moving, getting closer. Kareem grabbed me. "We leave now," he whispered, but Daniel stayed near the control desk, trying to reboot the system. Then the radio turned back on. No static this time, just breathing, slow, right next to the microphone, and then the voice again, closer than before. "You should not be here." That's when the vents above us opened slightly, not broken, opened from the inside, and something dropped. Not fast, not violent, controlled. It landed behind Daniel. We didn't see it clearly, but we saw his reaction. That moment when your brain understands something before your body does. He didn't scream. He just stepped back, slowly, like trying not to provoke it. Then he turned to us and said, "Don't run." That was the last thing he said calmly, because the next second, the cameras turned back on, but this time they were inside the station too, watching us from angles that shouldn't exist. Kareem broke first. He ran. That triggered everything. The alarms went off, not warning alarms, tracking alarms, like something had been waiting for movement. We ran into the forest, straight into darkness. No plan, no direction, just instinct. Behind us, the station lights flickered back on, but now they weren't lighting the building. They were lighting the forest, following us, guiding something else, and then we heard it. Footsteps, multiple, not random, coordinated, surrounding us. Kareem fell first. We didn't stop. That's the truth. We kept running, because stopping felt worse than leaving him. I hate admitting that, but it's what happened. The forest didn't feel natural anymore. It felt arranged, like paths were closing behind us as we moved forward. Then Daniel screamed from somewhere behind. One final time. Not fear, warning. Then silence. And the footsteps stopped chasing. right behind us, like they didn't need to anymore, because we had already gone exactly where they wanted. We found a drainage tunnel near the mountain base, didn't even think. We went in. Inside, everything was wrong again, too clean, too straight, like it wasn't built by nature or humans, just designed space pretending to be underground. We followed it for what felt like hours until we saw light, real light, not artificial, morning light. We climbed out near a highway. A truck found us within minutes. We tried to explain, but even we knew how it sounded. Station that runs without power, voices with no signal, cameras that follow things not visible, friends who didn't come back. And here's the part that still messes with me. When authorities checked the map, there was no weather station, no tunnel, no service road, nothing, just forest. And when we tried to go back later with a search team, the area looked completely different, like it had reset itself. Except for one thing, a metal plate, half buried near the trees, stamped with a number none of us recognized. And underneath it, fresh footprints, still forming, like something was standing there, even after we left.